I need a little help figuring some things out. This isn't about the day, it is about the time. Let's go through this because I've had a little time here to think about some things. And I think that while most of us have been thinking about it, just want to kind of bring it to light for you. So this is for Nancy Guthrie. We're going to take a bigger marker today. Nancy Guthrie. Bless her. Nancy Guthrie. Now I'm going to go through a timeline here that I'm really perplexed, and I'm going to be working in Arizona time, so that way nobody is confused. So Arizona time, let's do February 1st of 2026. That was the day that Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. But let's go through this. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. At 9 a.m. Arizona time, Nancy was supposed to show up with her church buddies to look at an online church. That was the Good Shepherd online church. It actually broadcasts from New York. But we're working on Arizona time, so that would have been at 9 a.m. Nancy was not there. So she was a no-show at 9 a.m. So they went through the online church. They went through the service. Many people tried to call her, it's my understanding. And then church was over. At what time? 10 a.m. Many people tried to call her. No answer. It's my understanding that maybe even some people drove by her house to see if her car was there. No call, no answer. At 11 a.m. Arizona time, it's my understanding that the call went to Ann Tommaso. I suppose that they went over to Nancy's house. Now we're going to take a little side trip. And I know all of you can see that. I want to write it a little bit little bit bigger today. So Annie and Tommaso went over to Nancy's house. But I'm not sure when. That is my big thing. So let's think about this. After 2 hours of not getting a response, her buddies called her family. That's reasonable. I truly believe that. That's reasonable. Because, sometimes people just don't feel well and, whatever, and you don't want to call and sound an alarm and, believe me, I understand. So Annie and Tommaso are contacted at 11 a.m. Supposedly, allegedly, they roll over to her house. At 11:56 a.m., they call 911. Hello, 911, what is your emergency? Hi. I think my mother is missing. Now, I'm not quoting, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm just giving you an example. So they called 911. Now here comes the big thing that I'm having issues with. So far, except for we have an approximately 56 minutes. But let's take another page. supposedly, allegedly. I'm going to just do it this way today. After the get-together for Nancy, and I'm going to presume it was for Nancy's birthday because her birthday was January 27th, Tommaso drives her home. Now, there is evidence that the garage door, the Kelly Dever, the garage door, opened at 9:48 p.m. And this was January 31st of 2026. So the garage is open at 9:48 p.m. Now we're still working on Arizona time here. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closes. Tommaso technically was the last person to see her. And that is supposedly, allegedly, before the perps saw her and took her. So we've got this 9:50 p.m. here, okay? Now, here's another question that I have for you. And if any law enforcement is listening or watching, help me with this, please, because I don't understand it. Now, I don't know, maybe Miss Nancy had an app on her phone to open the garage door. Many people do. Whether she used a keypad on the side of the garage there on the house, many people do. Probably not. It was late at night. Whether she had a clicker, I don't know. A little remote to open the garage door. However that was, it opened and closed. And Tommaso was the last to see her. Now let's back up for a second. Here we have this 56 minutes of, I'm going to say, unaccounted time. A 911 operator, where are you? I'm at my mother's house. Now, I'm role-playing here. I'm not saying what was on the 911 call, okay? I'm just doing a little role-playing, so that way you can kind of understand. So, 911, where are you? I'm at my mother's house with my husband. What's going on? Well, she was reported missing by her buddies. She didn't show up on her online church today. What time were you contacted? At approximately 11 a.m. And you're just now calling at 11:56. Okay, but here's the other question that I have. And this is also for law enforcement. We know that there was evidence of this 9:48 p.m. and the 9:50, open and the close. But how did Annie and Tommaso get in to the house? Law enforcement may already have this information. But don't you think that if they used the front door, they would have seen what was on the entryway. But it's my understanding that the front door was locked from the inside. Now, that's what I've heard and read. Now, my other question is, the back door supposedly, allegedly, was not broken into, was intact. So how did these two enter into Nancy's home? If they used the garage door opener of some sort, you would think they would have one, right? I mean, most adults who have elderly parents have keys and garage door openers, and it just kind of goes without saying. Wouldn't law enforcement have that information? We don't have that yet. But what were they doing? What were they doing? Doesn't it take just a couple of minutes to race through the house? Mom, where are you? Are you here? Are you here? And then you go to the back door and supposedly, allegedly, and I did see that it was open. It was supposed to be propped open by pots, like plants, pots. Now, if you thought your mother was missing and you entered in through the garage, you would check the back entrance, wouldn't you? And on that 911 call that took place at 11:56 a.m., wouldn't you say, oh my God, we came in. The back door was propped open. Someone must have come in, because I can't see that my mother would have propped this door open like that. And then I hear and I read, oh, our mother left the doors unlocked. Okay, okay. But we have to have some type of a semblance of patterning here. Life patterns. What is this? There's my biggest question. So the last person that was there was Tommaso. And the first persons that was there the next early morning was Annie and Tommaso. I just heard an old clip that the sheriff put out. And it was where a reporter was really kind of doing the full court press in a very gentle way, I'm just going to say, she asked him if the family was cleared, and he's like, well, they've been very cooperative. And she says cooperation and clearing are two different things. And at the end of the clip, he says, no one has been cleared. But now we find out that there's no communication between the sheriff of Pima County and the Guthrie family. Why would that be? So why would there be no communication? So I would say one of two things. You know you failed. Or you can't face them. Or, this happens to be my favorite, you have info that you don't want to share? Could that be? Question mark. Why does someone all of a sudden, or let's put a number 4, because he knows he's been criticized? That kind of thing, because this guy has an ego the size of Texas, and Texas is kind of a little irritant for him these days. I'm baffled. Because quite frankly, in any investigation, the first thing you do is you do the full court press on whoever was the last to see her and the first to arrive. I don't understand. I maybe some of you do. I don't think you do either. I think you're on the same mind set. You're on the same page as I am. We have approximately 56 minutes. Now I've taken this timeline from evidence and what's already been out there. So this is nothing new. And we have all talked about this 56 sort of kind of that 1 hour. What would you do if you went into a home? Now, here's the thing. They said the home was immaculate and it was clean. Well, if it were clean and someone was cleaning the day before, let's just say hypothetical. If I were going to a family party night, Saturday was my cleaning day, I would probably clean. You could smell that it would be clean. But some of those smells would dissipate into Sunday, into the next day. It would still be clean, but it would not smell as clean. And my question for investigators who for some reason had to continue to keep going back and going back and going back. You rarely go back after your first evidence haul unless something was wrong and you felt like nothing was accomplished in your first go. Someone, I'm just going to say a good sniffer, would have been able to tell. Because, if a home has been entered into, but here's another thing. And, while we're on it, and I've got to say it while I'm thinking of it, because if I don't, I won't. If the back door was propped open, and that was for several hours, think about the wildlife that is around that area. Think about that. I mean, there were times when I was living in Tennessee and I wasn't in like a big town, but I was out in urban areas. If I left my back door open for any little time, it would be critter invitation time. I mean, I've had squirrels get in, but the one thing that kind of shocked me one time was I left the kitchen, left the back door open. I was mopping. I wanted the floor to be dry quickly. It was a beautiful day. I just left the back door open before I had the kitties that wanted to go out and, that sort of thing. I took care of the mop water, cleaned up where I, threw out the mop water, came back, and there was a deer halfway standing in my kitchen. It was a doe. And she looked at me and I looked at her and I said, "Oh, well, welcome." And she just stood there. She wasn't afraid. Now, of course, that terrain in Arizona is completely different than in Tennessee, but Could there possibly be? Think about that. Because sometimes animals will come in and they'll run in and they'll run right back out, especially if there's certain smells, food, any type of this sort of thing. They will. I don't know if that is a possibility, but I won't rule it out. My point is, if that back door were truly open and propped open, there's a lot more there that could be happening. I mean, even a neighborhood cat, let's face it, they come in, they see a bed, hello. So my questions to law enforcement are that this just really is making less sense than what it has before. Because this case now, and according to law enforcement, isn't cold, but I'm going to tell you, it just sure feels a little on the chilly side. Because here's the problem. I think we've transitioned from actually searching and looking for Nancy, which that always should be a priority, into the rest of the case. Do they really feel if they find someone that someone is going to talk? I mean, look at Brian Kohlberger. He didn't have to talk the whole way through that, and he didn't even have to describe what he did at the crime scene. I mean, it's obvious by the crime scene, but he didn't have to talk about details because he pled in a certain way. So do they really feel that if they catch someone, that this someone is going to just, blah, blah, blah? No, they know better. They know better. Then I'm reading that this person who took Nancy, it may have been a fan. It may have been somebody that was obsessed. I'm going to submit to you today. If that were the case, if you're obsessed with something, if you're obsessed with a grilled cheese sandwich and you take it, you don't have any plan whatsoever to return that grilled cheese sandwich. Period. There's something more here, and that's why I believe that law enforcement is figuring it out. They're not going to tell the whole story publicly because, first of all, they don't have to, and they may not even be telling the family. But here, the fact that the sheriff is not talking to the family now, that tells me that someone has either told him to be quiet and back down, which I doubt that he would listen to, or it's one of these options. But I think it's a combination between being criticized and knowing, because maybe they posed these questions. Maybe the family, let's just say this. Maybe the family called the sheriff and said, "What's up with you, dude? You're there and you're acting out, and you've got a past that's not been revealed until now, and shame on you, state of Arizona. That's on you for not doing the proper vetting of people coming in." But regardless, it's shame on the sheriff for not talking about this too, and being so egotistical that he doesn't know when he's licked. So, and that's my opinion. So now we have this. This is a tangled web. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Right? Here we go. This is a web, isn't it? Yes, the artist in me is just really on point today. Anyway, Zelda. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. This is getting to the point where it's ridiculous and people just really need to know who is the real spider and who's caught in the web. Let's get out the cards. Here we are back again with Moishe and the Entourage. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to ask you if you'll please like and subscribe. I'm almost to 26,000. It would just make my century if I could be at 26,000 before the end of this week, and I appreciate it so much. Please put your DNA on the like button, and please subscribe if you feel that you could, because I've got so many great things coming, including the second season of Help, I'm Haunted, coming Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's New York time. New stories, new backdrops, and boy, oh boy, you don't want to miss that one. It is good. We have the What's the Vibe cards, the Piotnik. This is 36 cards written in 6 different languages. Our friend, the Cartomancy fire element, is back. And somebody said the other day, why don't you read a little tarot? Well, okay. All right, my darlings, here we are. And I want to thank you all for being so kind. Here we are, my darlings. Now, I'm going to read the energy on this because I want to talk about 56 minutes. 56 minutes. Tell us about the 56 minutes. There is definitely a space. "56 minutes. What's the energy say? Well, okay, now, come on. The image doesn't match what we're asking, but I'm going to say this. Let's just do this. Nice looking guy, but that's not what we're here for. Masculine energy. Who does that point to? Well, Tommaso? What about Tommaso? Tell us about the 56 minutes that, I'm just going to say that's a missing element for me. That's the missing element. So there was an oh boy, let's keep going. It is hot now. Let's keep going. I'm thankful I have this key because I'm going to tell you something. I think behind the scenes, there's some people enacting some things that maybe trying to thwart law enforcement, maybe trying to push away by using some technique. I'm going to say it that way. It won't work. I can guarantee it won't work. Legal. Now, there's a bunch of cards that fell out. We're going to take this top one. And look at this. I'm going to fan these out. Family. Wow. Could we just be any more chaos, upheaval, daydreaming, head in the clouds, delulu, hopes and dreams, and a loss. I don't believe it's that, so please don't look at that. But we'll put something over that. But look at this. Look how the energy is telling us. We're just gonna put this to the side. Next up, who's up next? Who's on first, right? Who's on first? What's up next? The energy, the missing time. I'm sorry. That just no, I'm not sorry. That just gives me chills. every time I get a confirmation of something like this. Now, I want to make it very clear. I am not law enforcement, and I do not work for law enforcement. No agencies, nothing. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I am a forensic tarot investigator, analysis, profiler, whatever you want to say, and intuitive. Primarily, I have worked with families who have missing pieces that need to figure things out that perhaps may have even stumped law enforcement or any other agencies, even medical. I'm not right all of the time, but I'm right a lot of the time. I can't tell you what cases. I don't have those people's permission. I'm not going to start blurting out private family upheavals. You wouldn't want your family upheaval, and I certainly wouldn't want mine if something happened that was bad and chaos and court-filled. So I want to respect them and just say, I can tell you about them. I won't mention names. If it fits into the reading, I'll fit it in. If not, okay. Now we have two that just fell. We're going to take those. A baby and hope. This here just really knocks my little socks off. Do I feel some of these people that are involved are delusional? Yes. Do I feel that there was anger involved? Yes, I do. In this deck, when you want to read for someone who is a male, right? Male energy, you pull this card out. There is one for the female energy as well. So it looks like we're reading on the male energy right now. And that would be Tommaso. He's the first the last, to see her alive. And he was the first, after the chaos happened, he was the first with his wife, Annie, on the scene. I don't know. And look at the cards that come up, the loss, this hopelessness, the loss. There's masculine energy. Wow, what do you think? What do you think? All of this is just pointing to Tommaso. Am I accusing him? No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's pointing there. Could be the missing link. Money is involved, and I believe at some point there has been some type of consistency. Has he lawyered up? Most likely. People who know they're being looked at do. Now look, he could be innocent. He could be. The family could be innocent. We just have to wait and see this play out. But hello. All of this. Now I'm thinking that what he was thinking in this was there would be a new beginning after all of this happened with Nancy. You see what this is? Like time through an hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Was that on NBC or ABC? I don't believe it was on CBS. Maybe it was on CBS. For all of you that remember those days, please let me know the days of our lives. Let's get a little tarot out. The world is watching. This is interesting. This is interesting. First of all, the world. Someone who feels that they have the world at their beck and call. Someone who uses all elements, and in some regard, and I like to think this way, that these characters in the corners represent the four Gospels. But others feel that they have the world in the palm of their hand when they exercise the four elements and perhaps other things that they've been doing. If you know, you know. This Six of Wands, this is a fire element. Fire would be one of the elements there that would be used, but it's an opportunity for opening doors, growth. See, the cards don't lie, the numbers don't lie, the energy doesn't lie. That's why I read on energy. You start messing, for me, but everybody else is, everybody else knows what they can deal with, and that's fine. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying what I believe. And I believe that the energy points to certain things, and that's why you need to really know your cards and really know what's up. Because the fire element is all about the energy of opportunity and also being creative. And taking that element of creativity to open doors, pardon me. The wreath is a symbol of victory. The laurel wreath around this rider's head is the same. Riding in past. Now, most people feel that this people in the background here, the community, are those who are supportive. And I do believe that the family do have a lot of people that are supportive. And, during this time, that is a good thing. But I'm just saying, who feels like they've won? Now, this is very interesting. This is the card that relates to the sign of a Sagittarius. It is a card, and you can see that these wings go off the frame of the card, and that means we're not done yet. There's more to come, and we're going to see more, but there's more to come. We're not done yet. And you see, it takes balance as well as skill to pour water between two cups. And when you first look at this card, you would think, oh wow, this is a water sign, but it is not. It is a fire sign. That's amazing, isn't it? But do you know what else is amazing about this card? What else is amazing is this is a card that would represent law enforcement. The loyalty, the ability to be balanced and look through things. You see this little triangle here on her robe? I'm just going to call it that way, her robe. The triangle there means that you have to have balance in all areas: spiritual, physical, mental, material. The little halo around her head, you see this? That's all about being enlightened. And that's all about law enforcement as well. It takes a particular moment to be able to figure things out, have that light bulb come on. And those who are drawn toward law enforcement have that ability. And I'm just going to tell you something. One of the officers, a fallen officer that lost his life at the home of a fellow officer in Boston, whose name was John O'Keefe, was a Sagittarius and fit this to a T. He saw things he didn't like. And in this particular case, I do believe that there's many law enforcement officers who have seen the same. It's not quite enough there yet to bring anything. Like maybe, I don't know, I'm not law enforcement, so charges, arrest, something. But it also takes the prosecutor cooperation. Let me put it this way. In cases like this, a well-rounded team is the psychology of a perp, the law enforcement, and then an ME, which is a medical examiner. We don't have that medical examiner, but we do have a lot of psychology experts who have given us fantastic ideas. You see this right here? 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground, being grounded, at the same time being balanced. And look, it's a long road. Every time I say that, I want to say it's a long road to Tipperary. Okay, but it's a long road. But you see, here is a goal. Now, most people think that is a sun, but if you look very closely, it's the crown. It's the crowning glory. But here may be the tell-all. The planet Mercury, this magician card, an infinite amount of ability to use the 4 elements. Hello. The 4 elements, cup, water, pentagrams or pentacles would be earth, the swords, air, and the wand is a fire. There's actually a serpent wrapped around this magician's waist, basically saying that, look at this, saying that there is this ability to work in this unending situation. The red robe, power, control, passion. 1 hand up with a wand and 1 hand down pointing. And look, Moisha. The motto of this card is as above, so below. But this infinite amount of ability with magician, I also like to call this the manifestation card. To me, that's amazing. I'm just looking at this and seeing all these confirmations and little markers that we have on the board, but I want to talk about something just a couple minutes more. This snake is considered an alchemical Ouroboros. Now, what is that? The snake is eating its own tail, marking the infinity symbol, and basically eternal, having command of the material world as well. There's a lot going on in this card, but I'm just going to say, is magic involved? The thought of using magic? If there were, would it be a dark art? That's my question. 56 minutes, Cartomancy, 56 minutes. I'm going to read from right to left. Maybe. No. This is the 4 of Hearts. It is all about a situation from the past that lingers in the present. And with this particular card, I will say that anytime a hurt or a betrayal, or you felt betrayed from the past, and you're reliving that daily, it no longer is the present. It's becoming your future because you can't shake it. With this coming out, I'm wondering if any of those feelings were with Annie and Tommaso. Did something happen in the past? Well, It looks like here with this 5 of diamonds that someone wanted to expand. They wanted to grow. They wanted some type of, and it could be even in business, but the diamonds are air. Air elements are communication. They can be also legal. They can also be text, emails, phone calls, however you'd like to say. But this is a card of someone wanting to be grown, to grow, maybe in their business or something, but always feeling held back. This would represent Miss Nancy. Why? Because the Queen of Hearts is a card that associates with a domestic goddess, a home, a wife that has a family. That's Nancy. But ironically enough, and I don't believe in irony, coincidentally, and I don't believe in coincidence, this 4 of clubs, I know you've heard me, if you're a first-time watcher here, I'm going to tell you in the Cartomancy in medieval times, this 4 of clubs gets very interesting because it is a card of feeling like there's a lack of trust. Now, did Nancy feel that she could not trust someone? Possibly, maybe, sorta, kinda, allegedly. But it's also a card of feeling like you're being swindled. But the thing that impresses me about this 4 of clubs is this ancient, medieval, because yes, the cards are that old, and yes, the tarot did come from the playing card deck. This ancient, medieval part of this card is, if you look down on it like we are right now, this 4 of clubs resembled, in medieval times, a 4-poster bed. This card, and for me, the 4s don't have a very good, even in the happiest of times with the 4 of Hearts, which is a very emotional, they're water signs. And yes, this is Nancy, even though it's a water sign, because it is telling us about her personality, what she was. It is labeling her. So yes, I don't always go by birthdays in the Cartomancy, just so you know. It's the association of the card meaning with the person. But this card basically is saying, getting in bed with the devil. How more swindled can you get? And that's metaphorically speaking. That means that you know something is wrong, but you choose to do it anyway. That's what that means. And then now here we come. Right beside this card is a card of even worse connotation. It is a card, the 3 of Spades, is all about a third-party interference or an influence. So who was trying to influence Nancy? Who was trying to interfere with a few things? Who could have been at the helm, asking Nancy perhaps for things that she did not want to provide? I don't know. I wasn't there. But this card kind of tells it all for me in many ways, because it is a card of not thoughtfulness, but it's a card of influence. It's amazing how this works. If I were reading a love story, I would say that there's someone having an affair. That doesn't fit in this particular reading, because it can mean a love triangle, but there was no love triangle. Perhaps maybe someone that Nancy did love, but she also maybe did not trust. That can happen. You can love someone but not like what they do, or not like them. I know, that's messed up in a way, but it's very true. Let's see what's underneath. Intimacy, mutual respect. Okay, so I'm just going to say it's not the intimacy like this. Sometimes you can have an intimate conversation. What does that mean? Between two people. Was Nancy having a conversation with Tommaso on the way home? Did she even make it home? Well, I think she did. But was this crime scene set up? What are we not seeing here? An enemy. Well, you know, sometimes they say an enemy's enemy is an enemy's friend. The Hanged Man. Another person who is enlightened. Should I say a card that is enlightened? And it's an invitation for us to look at things from a different perspective. 56 minutes. And here is the female that was also involved. Was it Annie? Let me know in the comments. 56 minutes. What were they doing? Love you all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.